In this lesson, we're going to go through the email actions in your workflow section of your editor. There aren't too many actions here. The first one really is the main one, is sending an email to any address that you indicate here. This can be a static value that you enter in. Maybe you're sending an email to yourself, so you can type in your own email address. Or if you're sending an email to the current user, then you can insert dynamic data so that the address is the current user's email address. Oops, let's see, email, that's the field there. Or if it's some other user in the database and you have a reference to it on your page, you can certainly navigate there. Maybe there is an email input on the page where somebody has typed in an address. You can insert the value of that input. Or maybe the user was searched through the search box element, which might let them autofill users by searching within that element. So you can pull the value of that search box in here. Doesn't matter. This is just looking for an email address. Your sender name is just going to be the name of the person. Whenever you're reading the email in whatever email client, this is usually just the first and last name of the person sending the email. CC and BCC options, these are optional. Subject, again, static or dynamic value. You can enter in whatever you'd like. I mean, it's a pretty self-explanatory form to fill out. And then, of course, the body of the email. You do have the ability to use the rich text editor to format your email a little bit more. This isn't as equivalent as complete HTML rich formatting, but you can do some basic things like bold, italics, you can center, you can create bullets and numbers. You can change the colors to any of these preset colors and modify a little bit from there. But for the most part, this is more of a plain text email form. To modify the sending email address, then that will appear when the email is sent. You'll want to go to settings and then domain and email. If your app is not yet on a custom domain, then all emails coming from your application will come from a Bubble email address. I think it's going to say no reply at bubble.is, something like that. If you do want to update the sender email address, you will first have to place your application on a custom domain. This does require your app to be on a paid plan. Once you have connected your application to a custom domain, you will see a couple of email settings appear below here. In fact, I'm going to open up another application where I have these set up so that you can see what this looks like. Okay, so here's another application that is on a paid plan and it has a custom domain set up. So I have all of these additional email settings that have become available to me. In order to specify my specific email address and the alias that's being used for this address, I need to create a SendGrid account. SendGrid is the email service provider that Bubble has integrated with to allow your emails to come from your own domain. You can use a free SendGrid account to get started. In fact, to remain, you can stay on a free account if you want, if you do not send too many emails from your application. I believe they give you 100 free emails per month after some free trial period of a much higher amount. But if you do send a lot more emails in a month, then you will need to get on a paid plan with SendGrid so that nothing gets stopped, so that all emails will go through. When you create your SendGrid account, you will need to generate an API key from your SendGrid account settings. That key is simply to allow Bubble to connect to your SendGrid account. You'll place that key in here. Make sure that you verify it. There will be a button here to click to verify. It's very easy. There's nothing else to do. If you've copied and pasted it in properly, it'll say connected. And then you can indicate the alias that you'd like your emails to be sent from. So the emails will no longer come from a no reply at Bubble. There will be no reference to Bubble. It'll come from whatever you send here, and you can update your sender name as the default sender name. If you want to override that sender name, then you would fill this out here. Now, specifying a reply to address is different from the sender address. The sender address will always be there. It'll be either that Bubble address or it'll be whatever you set up here with SendGrid. But the reply to address is what will show up. It's what will show up when the user who receives the email clicks reply within their email client, so that the reply address isn't necessarily the same as the sender address. So you can have them automatically reply to some other address if you want to kind of make that experience easier for them. If they know that they need to reply to a different address, they can always obviously update that themselves from their email client. But if you want the reply to be different, kind of forcing that to be different from whatever the sender address is, you'll want to check this box and enter in whatever that address is. All right, so that is the send email action. Let's go to the next one, which is send meeting request by email. This essentially creates a calendar meeting in addition to an email that gets sent. It basically adds in a meeting start date and time, summary, description. This works really well with Outlook and Google Calendar. The recipient will receive an email, but attached to it will be a meeting invite that they can very quickly add to their calendar and accept the, meeting invitation. You can set the start time of the meeting. You can set a length of the meeting, either in minutes or a specific end time. And there will be a default email body that's sent when you use this action. You can choose to change that body here and update whatever is set there. You can also set a location. And then the description is the description of the event. This is not the body of the email. That would be down here. So this is a really nice little feature if your application works with meeting invitations and your users are sending meeting invitations. Again, the to field is looking for an email address, and the sender name would just be a plain first and last name for who the meeting should be coming from. And then anything after that is going to depend on any plugins that you have installed in related to email. So I happen to have the Facebook plugin installed right now, which is just general bubble Facebook plugin. And because that is installed, I also have this action to send a Facebook message. It's part of the plugin. Normally, if you're just starting out and you don't have any plugins in there, you're not going to see that action here. You're just going to see these first two. So depending on what actions what plugins you have installed, you might have different options available here. So send Facebook message. All I need to do is provide a link to some page that I want the message to reference, and then the Facebook user is going to be looking for some user in your application that is connected to Facebook, meaning they have signed up or logged in to your application with Facebook. So this does mean that you are anticipating users to be associated with Facebook and have registered to your app with Facebook. So if this is something that's going to be useful, then all of these values should be already available. And what I would do here for Facebook user, let's say I'm sending a message to myself, for example, I can type in the current user's Facebook, and then that's it. That's the link to the user account. Or I can do a search for another user, let's just say the first one, and navigate to their Facebook field. This field is a hidden field that shows up because I've plugged in that Facebook plugin to my app. It's not one that I had to create in my database structure. All right, so those are your email actions. Again, just check out this list if you happen to install other plugins.